The ground splits open, swallowing entire streets. Seconds later, a monstrous fire tornado tears through a crowded public square, trapping 38,000 people inside a terrifying 100-foot wall of fire. This is the brutal reality of September 1st, 1923. In less than 5 minutes, an entire empire is brought to its knees by what would become the deadliest disaster in Japanese history. This is the minute-by-minute account of the day Tokyo burned to the ground. This is the 1923 Great Kantō Earthquake, September 1st, 1923. 11:57 a.m. It is a humid, windy Saturday in Tokyo and Yokohama. Thousands of households have just lit their charcoal cooking stoves as the region prepares for lunch. Without warning, the Sagami Trough, a massive fault line beneath the ocean floor, snaps violently. A monstrous 7.9 magnitude earthquake explodes outward, sending catastrophic shockwaves directly toward the capital. Because the earthquake hits precisely at lunchtime, hundreds of overturned charcoal stoves instantly ignite the traditional wooden homes. Spurred by high winds from a nearby typhoon, thousands of small fires merge into a single, unstoppable firestorm, turning Tokyo into an inescapable trap. Desperate to escape, over 40,000 citizens flee to an open storage yard known as the Honjo Clothing Depot. But as the fires surround them, a massive, freak atmospheric firewhirl drops from the sky, consuming the oxygen and leaving the crowd with absolutely nowhere left to run. While Tokyo burns, a secondary nightmare unfolds in the mountainous regions of Kanagawa. The violent shaking destabilizes entire hillsides, triggering massive, fast-moving mudslides that roar down the valleys, burying entire villages and train stations, and swallowing everything in its path. Out in Sagami Bay, the seafloor displacement triggers a catastrophic displacement of water. Along the coast, the ocean suddenly and violently recedes hundreds of meters, exposing fish and reefs and leaving the coastline completely bare, a terrifying warning of what is coming next. Minutes later, the ocean returns as a towering wall of water. A massive tsunami slams into the coastal towns of Atami and Kamakura, crushing thousands of seaside homes under a violent surge over 12 meters high. Back in Tokyo, the infrastructure is totally paralyzed. Telegraph lines are severed, train tracks are twisted into knots, and the water mains are ruptured, preventing firefighters from fighting the spreading blazes, leaving the capital completely isolated from the outside world. By mid-afternoon, a suffocating blanket of black soot and ash completely blocks out the sun. Survivors huddle along the banks of the Sumida River, watching their city vanish into a roaring ocean of flames, as day turns into a toxic, ash-filled night. When the fires finally burn out days later, nearly 70% of Tokyo is completely gone. The catastrophic combination of the initial collapse, the firestorms, landslides, and the tsunami claims over 140,000 lives. Millions of survivors are left entirely destitute, packed into sprawling, makeshift refugee camps set up in city parks. Food and clean water are scarce, leaving nearly 2 million people homeless in an instant. Amid the chaos, false rumors of looting and poisoning spread like wildfire, sparking violent vigilantism across the ruins. The government steps in with absolute authority, declaring martial law and deploying armed troops to prevent total anarchy. But from the ashes of old Tokyo, a modern empire is born. Government planners reject rebuilding the old wooden grid, instead designing wide, firebreak avenues, concrete public parks to act as safety barriers, and a city that could never burn again. The 1923 disaster rewrote Japan's entire relationship with the earth beneath it, laying down the exact safety laws and engineering marvels that allow modern Tokyo to stand tall against the violent tectonic forces of today.